I haven't been to the flea market in a while, and every time I go, I run into a Funko Pop that I need for my collection. Actually, I say a Funko Pop, but usually when I go, it's more than that. Alrighty, everybody, we are in the parking lot of the flea market. I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit muddy. Let's just go inside. Now, I feel like we always seem to start at this booth where they have a pretty good selection of figures. It just doesn't seem to change very often, but you never know. There could be something that I'm on the hunt for this week that I wasn't on last time we were here. And I think for today, like something that I'm really enjoying is Mint Berry Crunch, because we did recently start watching South Park, and I do already have that one in the collection, but I love to see it. Oh, Nate, you're here.
Hello. I see a couple cool ones I think you would maybe like.
Oh, really?
The Scarecrow Imposter one, I do think that one's pretty cool. They're from the DC Heroes line.
Oh, you know what? I think out of those there, I have one of them. It came inside of like a collector's box over at Walmart, and I also did see Two-Face. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yeah, that one's cool. And then the other one I think I did see was actually from Hello Neighbor, and I don't know if I've mentioned this one before from this booth, but it's always one I think is kind of a neat figure.
Well, did you play the game?
I watched it when it was like in pre-release, but I haven't played the game since.
Yeah, I remember when they came out, there was like about 5 or 6 different figures, and I didn't know too much about the game.
Time for that, and since that game like has, I guess, like come out.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been pre-release and then whatever.
And then just past Nate over here, we have some of the ones like from The Flash, and this is pretty cool because I believe the show is ending very soon, or they're on their last season, something like that, as well as Ant-Man and the Wasp, Star Trek, Mr. Meeseeks. Actually, shout out to Ride the Pop Guy. I'm sure he would love seeing these guys here. And then also, guys, on the other side, they've got this booth where I believe we've seen all these figures, but I thought we might as well show them because you never know, there could be something new. Like this one, I don't think the 10-inch one was here last time, but you never know. Now, everybody, I'm pretty excited because the next booth that we're coming on is one of the biggest for Funko Pops. Like, seriously, guys, take a look at this. The Pops just keep going. I mean, it's endless. Oh, now, Nate, I noticed over here you're looking at some of the Pokemon figures.
I wasn't looking at the Pokemon, but actually, I figured I was looking more at the Overwatch of.
Oh, I didn't even notice how many there were up here.
There's some of the big 6-inch ones up there, too, right?
Oh, true. Yeah, shoot.
Roadhog, Diva, Reinhardt, the other Reinhardt.
Oh, and that Hot Topic Tracer's pretty cool, too. I like the skull on her goggles. I don't know, I think it works well in pop form, you know, because their eyes are so big.
Yeah, definitely. I like that they reskin the Pops with the skins in the game, too.
Yeah, and it's not just like even the same mold, it's completely different. And now I'm sure a lot of you guys know I've been trying to complete the original Disney set of 12, but I'm noticing here that the Batman DC ones could be kind of fun, because if you take a look on the back here, it's not too bad. And I'm also noticing here that they do have the Joker, so if this is something you guys would like to see in the future, maybe we could do it. And you know what, speaking of the Disney video, we might as well take a look in their Disney section to see if they have anything. And at the moment, I'm not seeing much. I guess the closest thing here would be this Minnie Mouse, but this one here is Series 2, not Series 1. Oh, and then over here, didn't even notice they also have Merida from Brave. Now, this one's number 57, I believe from Series 5, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it is. Wow, okay, that's kind of neat. And maybe a figure that I could go for today. It's only 30 bucks. Yeah, I'm probably gonna grab it. Now, everybody, I came to the other side here because they have some of their expensive figures in the cabinet. There's some pretty interesting stuff here, like a lot of football ones, actually a bunch of football. Then above that, the one that I'm looking at is the Grover here, and the box doesn't look amazing, but for 35 bucks, it could be fun to grab. I also saw Crypto the Superdog and then Fozzie Bear over here, and this one's a little bit cheaper because he does have that yellowed box, but I don't know if I'm gonna go for it. All right, so I did end up picking up a couple things over at that booth. There was actually 2 Pops and a soda. I'll show you guys that later on. They also gifted me something that I wanted to show you guys too, but I won't do that yet because we're still at the flea market, of course, so let's just go to the next booth, which should have a lot of figures. I know we were just talking about this, but it's kind of funny that we ran into it.
Yeah, it is kind of funny. Now, we were talking about the 10-inch Pikachu.
We were.
And then we found the 18-inch one.
And if you notice the price on this too, it is the exact same. So if you're going for it, like you said, 8 extra inches here.
8 extra inches for the same price. So maybe not today, but I know where one is.
It is good to know. Now hold on, I ran into some Dave's Deals over here. It looks like some Pez are on sale, and I do remember there was one that I needed, but I'm sure I'm not going to be able to figure it out. Even though it is cool to see all of these, especially when you don't see the Pez very often. And, ooh, some Pez in the Protectors. Pretty fancy. And now we might as well take a look here in the cabinet where he's actually got a bunch of WWE ones. We've got Ironheart, Bosk, and it seems very similar to the last time we were here, but it's always good to check just in... Oh!
A Dude Love one.
Oh, yeah! I was actually just pointing out the WWE ones.
It's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. You're mentioning this because you want me to mention that we ran into Dude Love a little while ago.
I mean, Dude Love.
Well, Mick Foley.
Mick Foley. And there's a Mick Foley Pop.
It's true, Nate.
Very big
you just wanted me to mention this. Oh, and now this is neat. We've got some horror ones over here. So Billy from Saw, and then we've also got some actual signed ones from Friday the 13th. And then down here we've got Richard signed this one. And now, of course, I always like to take a look at their back section, but there's just so many figures to talk about everything. So maybe I'll just point out like 1 or 2 that kind of stand out to me, like this one up here, the Electro. And actually, now that I think about it, it might be the first time I've ever seen this one. And I gotta say, they really did a great job making it look like Jamie Foxx as well. And then I also noticed we've got like J. Jonah Jameson, and Ooh, take a look at this one, the Blacklight Wasp. Always fun to see these characters, especially with Valkyrie's flight above that. And then over here we've got a bunch of like anime as well as Rick and Morty. The glow-in-the-dark Avatar State Aang, pretty cool. Now I hopped over to the other side here because they've got a lot of their rocks characters as well as ad icons up here, as well as retro toys and stuff. But take a look at this one, guys. It is Speedy, actually the last McDonald's one that I need. And the thing is, I'm not gonna be buying it today because I did order it from the Funko shop, and when it comes in, I will be doing my entire McDonald's collection. Now everybody, I came across their Disney section, and of course I've got to look for more of those figures, and I'm seeing up here Sully, Mowgli's pretty cool, and then over on this side we've got Pumbaa, which is actually from Series 6. And now this is not one of those ones that I think I'm going to be going for, even though I do really enjoy this figure, because if you look on the back here, Series 6 is just the Lion King. It's actually the first time they swapped it over to being like a set of characters from all one movie. And then over here we've got Alice, which is one that I don't have, but I mean, I'm not going for Series 5 yet, so I'm probably going to pass on her for today. Even though I did get Merida earlier, and then I noticed right here, check this one out. I know it's going to be hard to show off, but they do have Tinkerbell from Series 1, which is one that we did get in the first video. But still a really cool pop to see. And then besides that, I think that's pretty much it for the normal size figures. And then up top, they do have the Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket, which is one of the movie posters that I do need for my collection. And if you'll take a look a little bit higher, it is only $85 if I could focus on it, which is actually cheaper than what I was buying the other ones for, so I'm probably gonna go for it. All right, now everybody, we've come over to Urban Card Breaks, which of course has a lot of Pokemon stuff as well as sports cards, but they also have Loungefly back here and some of my favorite, the Funko Pops. And what I love about this booth is that they seem to get in different figures from the rest of them. So like the White Castle Slider, Pringles, Charging Wally, as well as Elliot and E.T. over here. Seriously, one of my favorites from last year. And then also, if I get a little bit lower, I want to show you guys that they've got a bunch of Silver Tempest, Chilling Rain, Vivid Voltage, and then like I mentioned, a bunch of the Loungefly bags, especially with this one here with all the pops on it. I love that thing. And now hold on, over here in the back, I'm not sure if this is a Loungefly bag, but that is Bumble, and I don't think I've ever seen that before. Then above that, ooh, Back to the Future. Came over to another booth with a lot of random stuff. This is actually where we find a lot of our Lego usually, and it seems like they've got an armored Batman as well as Batman figure. Love to see them. Oh, and I didn't even notice, guys, over here, a kind of faded tearaway face clown. Hey, still like seeing it. Alrighty, so now that we're back, let's go through everything that I picked up. And if I'm gonna be honest, it's not a lot of stuff, but what I did get was pretty interesting. And whenever I go, I like to go for figures that you can't just find at maybe like GameStop or Walmart or Target, you know, stuff like that. And so let's start with the first figure that I picked up, which is Merida. Really cool that I was able to get this, and also for a pretty decent deal, because I believe she was only, yeah, she was 30 bucks, so not bad at all. And now taking a look at the back of this box, out of the ones that we've got here, because I know I am doing Series 1 at the moment, that's kind of like my goal to finish it off, but I think it's also nice to get some of the ones later on, so it makes it easier when we do try to finish off the set. And anyways, what I was saying was on the back of the box here, I now have Dumbo, King Louie, Merida, Carl, and Russell, so this set shouldn't be too bad, but there's still some pretty heavy hitters here. Also, I gotta say, for a figure that released in 2013, it's got some pretty great detail, especially with her hair. Then over at the same booth, I did end up grabbing a soda, and they also gifted me this here, which is a display for your sodas, and I did show off a couple a little while ago, but these ones are ones made by Retro Nostalgic. Definitely some cool stuff, and so I guess when we open up the soda, I'll put it right onto here, and I don't believe I've told you which soda it was. I actually ended up grabbing Dr. Fate. And I gotta say, this is a pretty interesting one, and I'm not exactly sure what the chase is, because the silhouette on the side looks pretty much exactly the same. So I guess we'll just crack into it and find out what it is. And now, let me find out if this can is gonna fit on top. So let me show you guys what you do. You take this and you can close it up, and then you actually put the can right on top. You can put it forward so you see the art, and then when you open it, let's find out if we did get that chase. I don't know. It looks pretty normal. I mean, the helmet's metallic. The body doesn't seem to be metallic, but I don't know if it ever was. And anyways, I'll put this onto the display where you're normally supposed to have them over there on the right. And let me check the pog on the inside here to find out if it is. No, it is not. This is the normal Dr. Fate. And then what you're supposed to do is there's a little bit of a groove in the front there. You pop that down just like that. And then what you do is you take the can and you put it right here in the groove. And I think that looks amazing. It's just a little bit too big for me to display all of my sodas like this. So maybe in the future I'll get a couple more of these displays and I can do my most expensive ones. That could be fun. And now I want to show you guys this, because I did end up going over to Urban Card Breaks. That's the one. And while we were there, I ended up grabbing this one. Actually, he was nice enough to gift it to me. I wanted to pay for it, but he would not let me. And if you guys want to check out Urban Card Breaks when you go to the flea market, I definitely recommend it, because this is just such a cool card. And he also threw it in his Giratina sleeve. And now if you guys don't know, I am actually a huge fan of Pikachu. I love to go through all of the Pikachu cards cards whenever I go to a booth to see if there's any new ones, and I just so happen to have my binder right here, so I kind of want to see if I do need this card. Because I've got a lot of the V's, but I'm not exactly sure on this one, so let's find out here. Okay, so far not yet. I need it. Okay, I do. If you guys want to check out the page, this is all of the V's that I've got. And then the one that I did end up getting today is similar, but it's not the same as the ones that I've got. And now, if I'm going to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what set this is from. It almost looks like a wisp and then another wisp kind of in like a coil. And I don't think I have any from that. And just to make sure, nope, this is not one that I own. So definitely cool. And shout out to Urban Card Breaks for the brand new card. And now let's get into this figure here, which I did end up picking up at the same booth as Merida. I don't know why I didn't show it off earlier, but anyways, it doesn't really matter. This one was over in the cabinet, and they actually gave me a pretty decent deal on it. And I'm not exactly sure what Grover goes for, but there was a small amount of damage, so they knocked off, I think, like $5 or $10. And so if you guys want to take a look, here he is. Definitely a fun one. And now, looking on the back, I have Super Grover, Cookie Monster, Bert and Ernie, and then Grover, as well as Big Bird and Mr. Snuffleupagus. So I'm getting close, and I believe I also have Elmo around here somewhere. I'm not exactly sure, but whatever it is, we are getting close to completing the set, so maybe this could be another fun one to try to do in the future, but for now, we're gonna be sticking with Disney. And now really quickly, I do want to pop this one out of the box just to see what it's looking like without the protector, because yeah, you can see there's a bit of like a crunch on the window, but honestly, it is not that bad, and I do thank them for taking off that $5 or $10. And I mean, here's the thing, finding a figure this old for practically retail, you can't really complain about it, especially when the figure is looking perfect. And then everybody, I did end up grabbing one more thing for today, and I was lugging this around the entire time at the flea market. And so the big one that I ended up getting, which I did show you guys, but I wasn't able to show it off too well because of how high it was this one here from Pinocchio, and it's actually Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket. Like, definitely a fun set to have, and take a look at the two of them down there dancing in the front, and then when you flip it around, you can actually see them on the back, as well as what the poster looks like. Also, for anybody curious, I am now only 4 away from having every single one of the posters, and then, I'm trying to think here, yeah, they're all Disney ones, and I'm hoping, oh no, I remembered what it was. I don't know why I totally blanked on this, but I figured out what number 1 was in the poster line. If you didn't see my video the other day, I was trying to figure out why they skipped number 1, and it's actually because they scrapped number 1 and swapped it to another category. And it was actually this one here, the Gremlins Pop VHS cover. It was supposed to be number 1 in the movie posters line, but then I guess they wanted to do all big ones like this, so they swapped it over to VHSs. And I honestly think that was a good move on Funko's part, because they all look great this size, and then to have one like this, it just wouldn't make sense. Now, the only thing I am a little bit worried about is that Funko's not going to go back and give us another number 1, which fingers crossed they do, because I remember when Snoop Dogg was supposed to get a figure back in, like, I want to say 2011 or 2012, they never did fill in that number. It was, I believe, Rock's number 16, and there just hasn't been anything, and I know a lot of people have been annoyed about that, so Funko, if you could at least give us a number 1 again, that would be amazing. And now the good news is the line is still pretty fresh, and the Star Wars one wasn't announced that long ago, and it was number 2, so I could see it happening. And now, everybody, here it is without the wrap on, and it's just a little bit easier to look at, and if you guys want to take a bit of a closer look without it, I mean, come on, the two of them look amazing together. And I really do enjoy how Funko made it look like both of them are walking, almost like they're singing and dancing. Maybe he has no strings on him, I don't know. And I know I've talked about this before, but if anybody's curious, you really can't take these out of the display. Like, if you take a look on the side here, you'll notice that Jiminy Cricket actually has like a bit of a screw going into the back, and then you can see over here, this is where both of their heads are screwed in so they don't spin around. And now, if I'm going to be honest, you probably wouldn't want to take them out of the case anyways, just because of how great they look with the back poster. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this flea market video, because that's pretty much everything for me today, and I'll see you tomorrow!